what if I told you that there is one thing that can immediately shift the way you feel, both mentally and physically? You can do it just a few minutes, it's completely free, and it's available to you right now. In fact, you're doing it now, but most likely you're doing it wrong. So let's say you got a passive-aggressive message, or someone hit a nerve during an argument. Suddenly your chest feels tight, your thoughts are racing, you feel completely on edge. What you probably don't notice in this moment is that your breathing has changed. And here is the most interesting part. Most people don't realize that the way they breathe directly affects how their body and mind react. It can either keep you anxious or help you calm down and reset. So in this video you will learn how breathing actually works and how it can help you feel more grounded, think more clearly, and even fall asleep faster. First of all, it's not some sort of woo-woo, it's actually backed up by modern science. So modern science actually says a couple of major things here, and knowing these things will help you understand breathing and how to do it properly for your physical and mental health. Number one, your breath regulates your stress response. When we get in a stressful situation, we start inhaling very quickly and shallowly. This activates our sympathetic nervous system that sends to our brain a signal that we're in a dangerous situation, and it gets activated this flight or fight mode. Basically, it means that our body thinks that we're unsafe and it needs to rescue us from this dangerous situation, even if this dangerous situation is just an unpleasant conversation with your boss. Now, when you inhale slowly and exhale deeply, it activates the parasympathetic nervous system. It gets you to the rest and digest state. And this state is very important because this is how you recover from daily stressors. Just think about it. You can basically change your whole state from the sympathetic nervous system to the parasympathetic nervous system only with the breath. You don't need anyone and anything. You always have your breath, so it means that you have total control over it. By focusing on your breath and by start inhaling deeply and exhaling deeply, you reduce your cortisol hormone, which is the stress hormone. You lower your heart rate and blood pressure. Through this, you send a signal to your body. You're safe. You can recover and rest now. Number two, improper breathing fuels anxiety. Breathing through your mouth or your chest keeps you in survival mode. Even if the threat is gone, so basically even if you finish that conversation with your partner that stressed you out, or when you already finished giving a presentation, but you still keep breathing through your mouth or your chest, and it looks a bit like this, right? It looks like I'm running away from a predator. So even if we finish this whole stressful thing, but we keep on breathing like this, our mind doesn't understand that the threat is gone, like we are out of the difficult, dangerous situation. Our mind still thinks that it needs to protect us, and hence we still feel stressed. Basically, we almost voluntarily put ourselves in a stressful situation for unnecessarily long. Maybe next time, instead of breathing through your chest and through your mouth, try to breathe through your belly and through your nose. This is the technique that is widely used in yoga and healing practices. That's what my Kundalini teacher always encourages me to do because it resets the nervous system. Number three, breath activates the vagus nerve. Okay, so what's so special about this vagus nerve and why should we care about it? The vagus nerve is one of the longest nerves in our whole body. It runs from your brainstem all the way down through your throat, lungs, heart, and into your gut. Now, The most interesting side of it is that this vagus nerve is the part of the parasympathetic nervous system. Remember, we talked about it. It's the nervous system that puts you in the rest and digest mode. It's really important that you get in this rest and digest mode, because if you are operating only in the sympathetic nervous system domain, you're always going to be alert, your heart rate is always going to be up, your blood pressure is always going to be up, and it's just really not good for you. So it's important that you get into this rest and digest mode on a regular basis. When this nerve gets activated, we get a message that we are safe. The question now is, okay, we got that this nerve is very important for us to get into this rest and digest mode. So how do we activate this vagus nerve? There is a study published in 2018. I'm going to be referencing my notes, so I'm not going to mess anything up. And this study found that slow-paced breathing activates the vagus nerve by increasing the vagal tone. Vagal tone is a measure of how well your body can relax after stress. Basically, what the study is saying is that when we focus on our slow and paced breathing after we've experienced a stressful event, our body is going to recover much quicker. When I was researching this video, I actually did not know that vagus nerve stimulation is used clinically to treat depression, anxiety, PTSD, and basically breath work is a non-invasive way to do that, because clinically they have all this sort of gadgets to activate the vagus nerve, but breath work is a simple, non-invasive, natural tool to do that. This is so impressive. Now let's ground this whole thing a little bit and talk about how breathing impacts our everyday life. Number one is falling asleep. I've noticed that whenever I had a stressful day or I'm going through a rough patch in life, I'm struggling to fall asleep. And I started paying attention to my breathing to understand if it played a role. I've noticed that I am basically holding my breath and hoping to fall asleep. Once I became mindful of it, I realized that it's counterintuitive. It's not possible to fall asleep if I'm not relaxed and if I'm just holding my breath. Holding a breath is a trauma response. Trauma disrupts breath. This is something that we likely learned somewhere along the life, possibly in our childhood, where we got a message that we need to be quiet, or where we were so scared and could not process our emotions, like for whatever reason. It doesn't have to be a big T trauma. It can be a small T trauma, basically something that is fairly subjective, like maybe another person would not have experienced this as a trauma, but you have, and it's completely valid. So for whatever reason, for like a number of possible reasons, we learned to hold our breath. That's something that I was doing unconsciously. I was not aware of it, but when I caught it, I started breathing more deeply with longer exhales. When you're living abroad, one of the hardest questions that come up is, do I stay or do I leave? The problem is, when you are stressed, your mind keeps looping and you can't see the answers clearly. That's why the very first theme in my new private community that I'm launching very soon is whether to stay or leave. And we will use breath work as a tool to calm the body and mind, so you can make a decision from a clear place, not from anxiety. Each month we will explore a different topic within the community, and if you join now the early waitlist, you will first get access to the limited spots and to the founding member offer. Plus, as a welcome gift, you will immediately get my Wheel of Life Abroad tool, so you can visually see which areas of your life are working and which need some love. And I've included in there a secret tool that will help you measure your current life against your values and start seeing already now some answers to the big question whether you should stay or go. It applies to any country you're currently living in, be it the Netherlands, Germany, Bulgaria, US, whatever it is, you will be able to find the answers in my community. You can get your free gift and join the early wait list with the link in the video description below. And if you later change your mind to join my community, I promise you I won't get offended. Number 2, dealing with conflicts or anxiety. During difficult conversations, my breathing changes. I start to breathe more shallowly and faster. Before, I was completely unaware of that and I was doing it automatically. But now I started paying attention to it, and I also started paying attention to how other people are breathing, because it tells me the state that they're in and it helps me navigate the conversation better. Because if I see that another person is stressed, I'm going to think twice if I want to ask them something important right now, because most likely they are not thinking clearly. Okay, so now back to me. What am I doing? What's helping me in these moments? I try to anchor myself in breath. This is the most immediate tool that I have access to right now. At the moment, in the middle of the conversation, I can't start journaling to process my thoughts. I can't talk to my therapist or my coach. That's just simply not possible. But what's available for me at the moment is my breath, and I'm going to use it. So first of all, I'm going to start noticing my breath, that it's a bit shallow and fast-paced, and I'm gonna make an effort to slow it down by extending my exhales. And that's already gonna make a huge difference for my mental state. Number 3, something a little bit less about mental health, but it's actually about physical health. How breath helps me in sports. I do Pilates. Pilates is tough. We do lots of repetitions. It's quite high paced and it's a very high intensity workout. Before I was paying attention to my breathing, I would have to take a lot of pauses to rest and recover. But once I started synchronizing my breathing with the effort, I noticed that right now, even when I'm in a luteal phase of my menstrual cycle, meaning that I am tired and I don't have much strength and much capacity, I still don't really take any pauses to rest, except for the planned rest, of course, that your trainer tells you to take. A lot of this endurance I attribute to breathing. Like, of course, there is a part of it that I've been consistent and I build strength and endurance, but breathing plays a huge role in it, in my opinion. So try it in your next workout to synchronize the effort with breathing and let me know if you notice any difference. Number 4. This one might not be relevant to everyone in the pure form of it, which is seasickness that I want to talk about, but every single one of us has struggled with some physical discomfort, strong physical discomfort. I was going by boat from Bali to Gili Meno. The boat ride takes around 2 hours, and I know that the sea can be choppy, so I take an anti-nausea pill. This time the sea was absolutely insane that my pill did not work. And I was noticing that whenever I would give in to panic and would start breathing shallowly and fast, my physical symptoms would get stronger. But whenever I would try to slow down my breathing and focus on long exhales, my whole experience would suddenly become a bit more bearable. There was no magic, like my seasickness did not magically just vanish because I started breathing, but the difference was huge. The difference was from me suffering during this whole boat ride for 2 hours or making my experience unpleasant but bearable. I am completely in awe how much we can influence and change with simple breathing. And these changes are not only physical, but they can also significantly impact our mental health. The great part is that it's with us and it's for free, so we can access it at any point and it doesn't take much effort at all. For now, thank you so much for watching this video until the end. If you like this video, you will likely enjoy this video next. I'll see you there. Bye for now.